Hello, it's Leslie here. Today I'm going to look at this Shimano CN42 chain wear indicator tool. This is my second chain wear tool that I've bought. The first one was a blue anodized Park CC2, I think it's called. On that one the pins bent and it was no longer accurate or reliable. So I got this one on the recommendation of Zero Friction Cycling. It comes in zip tied to this cardboard piece of cardboard. It's got some rudimentary instructions on the back. I particularly like this smiley face here. It says, if the chain tool doesn't drop in, then it's okay, and if not, it's got a sort of a very unhappy, sick looking face. So it's made in Japan out of laser cut case hardened steel. The thing is with it though, it's a lot smaller than I expected it to be. I thought it would be at least 50% bigger, so that's it there compared to a normal pen. It's quite small, so it only measures over the length of about 10 sections of chain, about that's it. I think it could have been twice as long, because that would have been, it'd be twice as accurate then, because we're trying to measure roughly 0.1 millimeters. You're not actually measuring to zero. If you're measuring to 0.5 millimeters accuracy, then it's not good enough. So anyway, so the idea is you put this end in first, and then if it drops into the chain, it's worn out. So it doesn't actually say whether that occurs, like whether it's measuring 0.5% wear rate or 0.75% wear. It doesn't really say. It's kind of a yes or no qualitative thing. Also, you'll see it's only single-sided, so as I said, it only measures that one thing. The Park one, on the other hand, is double-sided. It gives you two readings, whether it's 0.5% or 0.75%. This one, however, does take into account like the roller wear, so I think it measures on one side, from one side to the other. Anyway, that only it doesn't really mean much. I mean, you're only measuring 10 links. So I wasn't quite sure how hard to press this tool in, and I know you're not meant to force it in, but does it drop in on its own, or do you have to press it in? So I was a little bit curious, and what happened was I asked around my house, is there a meter ruler around here? And there happened to be a meter ruler. And so I was curious, and I measured the length of some chains that I had been using. And what I found was 78 links. Well, first off, I should say that each link is half an inch pitch, or whatever, 1 inch pitch between the actual two links. So it's half an inch between each individual rivet. And if you measure 78 links, it should come theoretically to 990.6 millimeters. Now the reason I've chosen 78 is so that it's just shorter than 1 meter, because I doubt you have a ruler that's longer than 1 meter. But what I'm trying to explain is that if it's stretched 0.5%, that 990.6 will then measure, the 78 links will measure 995.5 millimeters. So if you measure a chain over 1 whole meter, you're measuring 0.5% is 5 millimeters. So it's actually fairly easy to measure 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters is quite a lot, but on this, I think it's a big ask to be measuring 0.5 millimeter. You know, I wouldn't buy this again. I would probably just buy a metal ruler if I didn't already have one, and do it that way. It's not as bad as it sounds to do it via the ruler method, because you don't even have to count the 78 links. You'll see where they line up, so you don't even have to count to 78. Now if you have an imperial ruler, it'll be even easier, because when the chain's new, it'll line up exactly with each inch mark and 1/2 inch mark, and then you'll be able to see exactly how far it's stretched. So my point is that if you measure in this ruler method way, you can actually measure to, I would say, the millimeter, closest millimeter, so you can get a measurement of 0.1% stretch, or 0.2%, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, so on. So I think it's more of a quantitative way of doing it. So I was using these chains for quite a while, and recently, and the shifting was getting pretty nasty, I have to say. And I dropped this in my chain, and it was saying, well, it's not actually falling in. So I thought, well, it still must be okay. I'm having to press it in, and the shifting was taking its time. It was a lot slower. So if I adjusted it so that it was faster on the shifts of the bigger cogs, it would be slower going the other way, and I could never get it right. So then eventually it would exhibit this kind of ghost shifting. You think it did shift, and then maybe 5 seconds later it would change gear. So instinctively, what I'm saying is that instinctively I would have probably replaced my chain already, but I was curious to know what this chain tool was telling me. And it turns out these chains that I swapped chains, I had two. One was measuring about 0.5% wear, and the other one, or 0.5% wear, and the other one was more like about 0.55. So I think your chain would be pretty knackered by the 0.75% rate. I didn't realize how stretched that actually is, but I think that's a very bad stretch. That's a very worn chain if you leave it that long. I'll probably keep this tool because it's kind of handy now that I know. Yeah, I can trust it after I've measured it, after I've confirmed it with the meter rule that I have. I'll probably keep it because it's a lot faster. But what I'm going to do is, when I take off my chains to re-wax them, I'm going to throw them against the metal ruler and see how long they are then. But I think, from what I've seen, my instinct would have told me, replace these chains because your drivetrain is not happy anyway. So, anyway, the thing is, I probably wouldn't buy it again, knowing what I know. Now that I've got it, I'll just keep it. But I wouldn't buy it again. I'd probably just use a metal ruler. So that's all I really got to say about it. Oh, the other thing is, I tried it on several chains, and it won't work on Campagnolo Eccar 13-speed chains. The tool is too thick to fit between the inner link plates. So if you're going to buy it for the Eccar 13-speed group, don't bother because it won't work. So that's all really I have time for today about that. Thank you for watching. Bye.